All right, here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that wherever you are is doing good for you, my friends. It is me. It is Paul Carpenter. This is Ep.3. No guest today. And that's okay, because sometimes we're going to have guests and sometimes we're not going to have guests. And I think it's better that way, because sometimes I need some time for myself. Mr. Moose wanted to say good morning today, so Moose, come here. Say hello, good morning, Mr. Moose. Say, no, over here, not over there. That's not what we want. He's looking at it. Okay, you go. He's gonna try and find a squirrel. So folks, today the message is of such. A man was asked on his dying bed, as someone else had the power to save him. He said to him, "Are you a good man?" And the man who was wounded and about to die, or very close to death, said, "I don't know." And he woke up 3 days later in a bed. A couple months go by, and the man asked the one who saved him, he says, "Why did you save me?" And the man says, "Do you remember the question I asked you?" And he says, "Yes. You asked me if I was a good man." And he says, "Do you remember what you said?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "I don't know." And the man who saved him said, "And that's why I saved you, because a good man would respond that way." And if you kind of, the whole idea of that, it really states that it is those who are constantly questioning their own motives at some level, if they're doing the right thing. And it all really revolves back down to your boundaries and the responsibility that you are sharing with others by placing those boundaries around you. And I recently heard this, and it's really good. And boundaries help you know what other people's intentions are, because by placing a boundary, it states what you are willing to be responsible for, what you're willing to take care of. And anyone who steps over that boundary without your permission immediately allows you to know what their intention seems to be. And so we move in our days many times not even thinking about our actions or where we're at, because most of us don't have time. Most of us don't have the time to think about anything, let alone our actions or our addictions or any of it, really, right? Because we're so overwhelmed with just the idea of surviving. At least that's most of the people on the planet, right? And you would say that those who are not in survival mode are in some kind of mode of exploration. I've found that many people who have learn to let go of societal norms seem to be more content and more free with their uh, beings, and they have found a way to, on some level, release themselves from the responsibility without disconnecting from the entirety of society. And so, for instance, I met a husband and a wife, and they're both singers, and yet at the same time, they don't want to have the normal home. They want to have a caravan, and they want to travel with other artists, and they go already as it is. They travel to different seminars and self-help healing centers that ask them because they've heard of their music or they saw them at a seminar or so on and so forth. And so in turn, these people are getting to freely live their lives in a way that other people don't understand it. But once you find that you don't really own anything, right? The home that you work for, the car, or maybe your car, but for sure our homes, right? We don't pay our land taxes to the state we live in. Foomp, there goes our home. And I don't know how many states in the United States don't have a land tax, but bear with me with the conceptual idea, right? And so the idea here in the end is that none of us really own anything in the end, no matter how much work we put into it. Granted, yes, oh yeah, I slave and I put something and I made something in the ground and I built my sand castle, whatever that is. Whether it's your shed that you put in the backyard last week or the car that you're paying for that you drive around that you really like, it doesn't really matter. None of that is the issue. It's that in the end, you're not taking it with you. And the only thing that you're really doing here is vibrating at a certain condition. And I say condition because you've conditioned yourself to place yourself within that realm of thinking. And so it's very hard to believe or understand that someone else could live a certain way and quote unquote be happy. Many people would look at it and be like, dude, that guy poop. But when that guy has his own tribe of people who were doing the same lifestyle, and not because I in some way was the prodding, or I started a cult, or that I joined a cult. Nothing like that. It's people who want to eat healthy and want to use products that are not based in corporations, right? It's people who want to see other people advance their mind, advance their body, advance their soul, if you will, to be content with experiencing the experience, because in some way that makes it better. And so it's a matter of find, and I've been talking about this with a friend of mine. Maybe I spoke about this yesterday, but it's finding where you belong within that space. Hi, folks. I didn't have a guest today, but now I do.
I'm headed to the airport.
Oh, cool. No worries. Are you driving or are you with someone?
I'm driving.
Oh, okay. Well, let's not look at the camera, but let's have an interview. I'm going to introduce everybody, who you are and what you do and how we've met, or at least I don't remember how we met, but I'll do all the stuff. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen.
Tijuana.
Yeah. That's right. Ping pong show. Anyways, okay. So everybody, today's guest is Ryan Magnuson. He is an artist entertainer from the Houston, Texas area. I've known him for many, many, many years, 10 plus. We've been very close friends. He actually took care of a situation of mine that was very sad once, a puppy that somebody gave to me that nobody told me about that was sick, and oh man, it was a flubber, bloop, 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 bloop. And he's been an absolute gem in his life, with everyone around him, and more so than ever, his mother and his family, and the way that they're so tight knit. So there's so many things that Ryan I have attachments to me, and many times when I think about what I wanted this idea to be, the show that I'm coming up with, if you want to call it, on the other side, whatever, was that I always have these really beautiful, awesome, interesting conversations with people, and at the end of the conversation, or somewhere in the middle, we always say to each other, "Oh man, I wish we would have." Sorry, puppy, come here, over here, down, go down, guys, outside, come on. Ay. Well, I was just trying to get him to pass by me, and she wouldn't pass by me. Hold on, give me a second. All right, go. Sit on that bench? Yeah, I could do that too, but then I don't have a place to. But here, let him out. Come on, guys. Come on, outside. No, okay, well then whatever. All right, here we go. So I'm back, and hi, Mushy. And what was I telling you? Where was I? Please forgive me, as I got totally interrupted. That at the end of in the middle conversation, everyone always says, "Oh man, I wish we could have recorded this." And so this is how this whole thing got created. So Ryan, he is a stilt walker. His website, is it still Sky High Juggling, or have you changed it?
No. I don't really have a website. My Instagram is Elevated Entertainers.
There we go. At Elevated Entertainers on Instagram, and he has taken the art form of stilt walking and made an absolute career out of it. He has created different characters over the years. He also plays different characters, as he's a character artist. He's done Scrooge. No, what's it called? The Christmas character that you always play.
The Grouch.
The Grouch, that's it. And he's one of, if not the, absolute best at it. He has an amazing team behind him of people who have helped him create suits, who have helped him put on the makeup in the most absolute professional way, so that when he goes and does an event, it is really the character from the movie. I mean, full on, he plays it, and it's really beautiful. So there's so many things that he does, and so let's just start the show now. And Ryan, thank you so much for joining me, and while you're on your way to your wherever you're going. And let's find out where that is.
I'm trading 103-degree weather for 60-degree weather in Colorado.
Nice. What are you doing in Colorado?
Just going to go visit my best friend who's been sick.
Oh.
And I have a few days before I go on my cruise next week with my mom, which we've been trying to go on for like 4 years, and we're finally going on this cruise. So I had a few days. I'm off this weekend, surprisingly. But, you know, just traveling while I can right before busy season hits.
Right. Well, first of all, me and I'm sure everybody who heard that your friend is not feeling well, we're sending a ton of love and energy of positivity so that they feel good. My second question would be, what have you been doing, like, as of lately in life and all that good stuff?
Just working. It's been kind of slow. So just trying to drum up work and just traveling a little bit, even though I shouldn't be, but
sorry, I missed you. I had two questions, but I messed. Someone called and it disrupted the entire thing, and I didn't get to hear you. So my question was, how has work been, and what have you been doing lately as far as work?
It's been notoriously slow, and I think the weather has a lot to do with it. I've done a few outside stuff, and it's been awful, but you know, it's work, and I got a gig and I'm available. I got to do it, you know. So it's just been notoriously slow. So I've just been trying to drum up work and still traveling, when I can, because that's never going to stop. I always, have that mentality of always find a way,
Yeah,
to do it,
the
make it happen, The
the
Bill
Bill
White,
Wyatt trick.
the Bill White track mentality, you know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. He finds a way to travel. Um,
He's like, cause
so
yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
just trying
um,
to, just
yeah.
work.
Any interesting stories or any interesting travels that you've done as of recently? Like, and maybe if there's anybody watching, you can tell the story of how you got into. I mean, obviously we know what it is. We saw Bill doing it, and we were like, "How does he do that?" And we kind of follow the same approach on some
Yeah.
level. Um,
Uh, how I
so
got into like traveling? Yeah.
maybe an interesting story or maybe how you find cheap flights or something like that. I mean, I'm going to do the same thing with Bill at one point or another. Hopefully he'll do one of these with me. Um, and yeah, just something interesting or an interesting thing that you did while outside of the country, because many people who are in the United States are afraid of going outside of the country, period,
Yeah.
because of the I don't know what you want to call it from the news, where everything in every country is blowing up and every person is killing another person. And then when you get there, it's like a regular, country, and there's people in the streets and there's people shopping, and it's not,
Man, there's
what they made it out to be.
yeah, people are afraid to travel outside of the country, but there's literally, you can look it up on the news. There's a shooting almost every day, every night in Houston, somewhere.
Right. Oh, it's somewhere in the United States. Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's that's
It's
absolutely.
it's and like the places I've been to. I did India last November with Bill for a month. We were gone for a month, dude, and this is the best freaking time. Like
Could you
we
could you
we
could you
were
give a
we
could
were
you give a
so
factor
huh?
of how much you spent on that month? Like a bit, like on everything with the travel and the this and that. You spent a whole month in a country, so some
Maybe
people would think like you spent
less.
like $10,000
No,
on one.
maybe less than five.
So to spend a whole entire month
Yeah,
and
you travel
travel
cheap.
and visit
Yeah,
places and everything, you spent less than $5,000 for a
maybe.
month.
Yeah, because you
And
can
that's
find
like,
really, if you go with people too, you're splitting stuff, and
mhm.
then, like you don't have to stay in bougie, hotels, all inclusives, this, that. I mean, that's nice every now and then, but when you're going that long, for me, it's about the adventure, and I don't mind spending $5 or $10 a night. It's what we did when we went to Colombia. Some of the
Mhm.
dude, we had no infestation in most of the places we stayed in Colombia, and then we stayed in a hotel coming back in Fort Lauderdale, and there were cockroaches everywhere. Go figure.
It's it's something that a lot of people don't really recognize when they're here in the United States, that when you go to another country like a Turkey, like an India, like a Colombia, that when you bring in these American dollars, you're living with a dollar that most people are $50 a month, and they're surviving with their entire family on that money.
I
So when
talked
you
to this guy. I talked to this guy that we met, and he was trying to be our tour guide. And we were like, no, we don't need a tour guide. No, we don't need this. No, we need that. But he was just insistent on hanging out with us. And he's like, afterwards, we're leaving. He's like, you should come back to my place. And I looked at Bill, and Bill's like, no, we're not doing that. We're like on some freaking island, about 2 hours from Mumbai, going to see this. It's called Elephant Island. And he's like, oh, come to my place. And I'm thinking, well, it's really hot. I was like, do you have AC? And he's like, AC, I'm not rich. So just that mindset, like you're rich if you have AC,
oh
if you have
yeah.
an air
Oh no!
conditioner, you
No!
know?
Oh no! Yeah, and I think that's the thing, that right there, that non-convenience that you just mentioned is the fear that Americans have, that we're going to get to another country and that everything's going to be really hard and unexplainable, and I don't have this and I don't have that, and to find a doctor might be the hardest thing in the world if I get hurt, and it's always the fear factors of all these things in front of you that stop any American from traveling, when
Yeah.
in reality, oh my God, anybody and almost everybody, even a guy who's trying to get money from you as a tour guide trying to survive, will in the end invite you to his home. And I have a story that's somewhat like this, which is when I was in Israel, my first time, and I was studying to be a rabbi. Right, I spent a year out of 4, like my freshman year of college, if you will. But nonetheless, I met a Muslim guy who worked at the school, so it was very safe, if you will. And he says, "Follow me. I want to take you to my family to do a magic show." And I'm like, "Sure, yeah, whatever, you know." But he takes me into I mean, I'm talking in the deepest parts of the Arab section of Jerusalem, which in all actuality, as a Jewish person, you should not be there by yourself. You know, like it's not a good scene. And so I start doing this magic show, like telling, and then before I know it, this guy's entire living room has close to about 100 people in it, with adults and I'd say 70 some odd kids, right? And the rest are just adults. And I full on do an absolute, like, full on hour show for these people. And they are on another level, right? And the whole time it's, let us feed you food, and let us give you this and let us give you that. And it's not just me at the magic show level. It's almost any American who is willing to give the time to be real and not just be a tourist.
Yeah.
There's a huge factor change in the people. Like when I was in Bali in Indonesia, I met these 2 kids who sold, fake Prada and fake Gucci, this, that, whatever. And I bought them McDonald's. And then the next day they invited me to their home, right? They were like, "Yo, we got to show you, our home and where we are and where we live. We're riding around on a scooter in the middle of nowhere, and just crazy life stuff, But yeah, it's like, but that's where you get the real stories. It's like, it's the same thing that Bill does. It's not a non-safe thing. It's not like you're just walking up to anybody on the street and going, "Hey, take me to your house."
Man, I gotta tell you, when we were in India, everywhere we went, in the beginning it was cool, but literally we were going to some places where it's like they've never seen us before, like, or at least that's what it felt like. But we were literally like celebrities. People thought I was a wrestler. People thought Bill was a wrestler or like an actor, and it was like selfie, 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 selfie all the time. Everybody wanted photos. We'd go visit some monument, and we'd have a line of people taking our photos. It got to the point where I was like, should we start charging?
I mean, you kind of look like Mr. Beast. So maybe, no, seriously. I mean, I'm not even joking. You kind of look a little bit like Jimmy Donaldson, the guy. So maybe,
But it
people
was
were
like,
like,
oh my
"Hey,
god!
he's
And then of course,
he's
we had
Mr.
two
Beast."
we had 2 hot Ukrainian girls with us. So it's like, all right, like,
That only puts the factor of wanting photos up 1,000.
God, yeah.
The white Norwegian crew of blondes and good looking people. And then you have Bill Wyatt, the traveling wizard with his crazy hat and his attitude and the whole
Six
deal.
six
Forget
foot
it.
three guy, like, just
Plus, he's filming everything with his phone, right?
you
Of course,
should see him. The funniest thing, because his bag started off small in the beginning of the trip, and then by like the middle of the trip, his bag would get bigger and bigger and bigger. And he travels light, but his girlfriend wants to buy like souvenirs and this and that. And Bill's like, really? But it would get like bigger and bigger. So like we'd be getting on these small planes because we took like 18 flights during this trip in India. I've probably visited more of India than I've done of the U.S. No joke.
wow,
In a month.
wow,
I know.
wow. So
So
were the flights
oh,
cheap? Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah,
But when you said that,
sometimes less than $100. Like, oh yeah, so cheap,
wow,
so cheap.
right.
So I'd be sitting on the plane and he'd be getting on because he always likes to be like the last one, and he's like trying to fit his bag into the overhead compartment because you can't put anything below you. They don't have that.
Yeah, the seat
And then
thing, right?
he's like, he'll be putting it in, or like he'll be trying to get it out when we land, and then everybody's staring at him because everybody's already seated, and he's like, it's like delivering a baby.
All right, so he does this on the flight. This is in the middle of the flight.
Well,
Oh god, I lost it. Everybody's just, and then nobody really speaks English, and everybody's just staring at you, and it's just like you can say whatever you want to them, and because they have no like, I love Indian people, but they don't know personal space like at all,
at all.
at all.
Yeah, no.
So it's just different.
And then that, and then
It's
and
just
then
different things you got to get accustomed to. Yeah, it's
this
different things you got to get accustomed to, like the constant horn honking. It's 24/7, 365. They don't know, and we looked it up. They don't know the meaning of the horn. They don't know what it's used for. So,
Right.
oh my gosh, we'll be in a cab, and it's like you're passing somebody. Like it's like okay, yeah, cool, and it's just they just do it.
Have you ever been to Egypt? Have you been to Cairo?
No, it's on my list.
Yeah, it's same as here. I never got to go, but when I was there, a friend of mine when I was in uh,
Sorry,
no, you're good. I can't the
I
Sinai
can't hear you.
Peninsula. Oh, you can't. My microphone.
Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So,
I unplugged my cord. We got a little storm today, man. A little thunderstorm and rain. We haven't really had much rain in like 2 months.
yeah,
Are
yeah.
you
But like I was
in
saying, when
Louisiana?
I was
Are you still in
what's that?
Louisiana? Are you in Louisiana?
I'm in New Orleans at the moment. Yeah. So today's episode is in New Orleans. I'm trying to do a different episode in a different city.
How long are you there for?
I'm here till for sure October 6th. I'll be in Vegas October 6th to the 10th. There's a reggae festival, and then right after that, I was invited to go stay at a place called the Reggae Camp. It's near the Georgia South Carolina line. Yeah, what's that? I'm gonna turn down. Where are you at the airport? I hear planes.
Not yet. No, I still got about 15 minutes.
Where are you headed? Are you out of hobby or intercontinental?
Intercontinental.
It's always a trip.
I land. This is my life, all right, guys. I'm going to Colorado for a few days. I land Wednesday night, and then Thursday, Friday, I'm doing the grand opening of a new strip club by Hobby Airport.
Oh, very cool, man.
It's the one they have a location up. They have like 15 locations all across the country, and they have one at actually down by the Intercontinental Airport that I've been doing for 5 years. I know the GM, and they have their grand opening of their new one in Hobby, and I went by yesterday to check out the space because they're not open to the public yet, and it's the nicest club I've ever been into.
Like dance club or
No, strip club.
oh, strip club. Oh, fun times.
Yeah. So I'm doing the grand opening of that Thursday, Friday.
Nice. Right.
And then Saturday I go out to Miami, and then we're staying in Miami for a night, and then we leave on our cruise Sunday. We're going on it's one of Carnival's biggest ships. The Celebration, it's new. It's got a roller coaster on it, everything.
That's gonna be fun. A roller coaster on the water. That's gotta be trippy. Yeah. Make sure to ride it when there's a storm.
They won't operate it.
But I know that would be cool. Like extra.
And it's called the Bolt. It's called the Bolt. So could you imagine like a lightning bolt?
All right, that's too much, right? That's too much, yeah.
Too much. But yeah,
so let's talk about something else. Talk about some of the characters that you've evolved over the years as a stilt walker. I mean, some of the new things that you have. I don't want to give it all up. I know most of it, but
the mirror suits and my LED robot have been the most popular.
So when you say LED robot is just a stilt walker, it's not your robot character that looks like a transformer.
No, this is just LEDs all over it's got like a motorcycle helmet with a shark fin on top of the helmet and a chest piece and long pants, and then I have laser gloves.
Cool. Have you ever seen the laser routine in which you can have like a laser from hand to hand and you can stretch it and then you can make it go
So
through your body?
my friend is Lady Laser. She's in Vegas.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
trying to book me for a gig right now. Lady Light Girl or Light Lady Girl is her name, but she controls the laser. She's created the technology and done all this and has a full blown show. It's insane. She's
Oh,
been
nice.
on she's been on talent competition shows and everything, and she's magnificent.
Right. So
But she can manipulate and and move the lasers. It's insane.
yeah, I don't know if I've ever shown it to you, but there's a famous magician. He's I don't know. He's won a million awards. His name is Jason Latimer.
Hey, hold
And
on one second.
about
I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be. It's cool. I'll keep talking while you're fixing. Just mute yourself or something. I don't know. But there's a magician, very well known, whose name is Jason Latimer, and Jason has a routine, and it's I want to say almost 15 years old now, called the laser illusion, and he mixes together 3 or 4 of like the coolest laser effects, and this is from like years and years ago. But yeah, that's why I asked, because I know that you could probably do it. You know, it's really loud.
Huh?
It's really loud in your car.
Yeah, freeway.
Oh, is the window open?
Nope.
Oh, jeez, your phone's loud. I understand. Anyways, so the robot character that you got into, are you not using that as much, or it just doesn't seem to?
I got it right before COVID. COVID hit. No, I do.
Mhm.
It's one of the most expensive things I have. So,
So it's expensive to rent out for other clients. When clients want to rent it out, you charge a lot because it takes a lot to put together. I.e., you have to have somebody else working with you, help you put yourself into it, so on and so forth.
Best booked it out for me for 3 hours at the convention center and gave me my rate. So it was worth it, you know.
Right. Sure. Of course.
So
Yeah. I mean,
it's a pain in the butt because I got to load it up, which takes a while. Then I got to unload it. I got to have an assistant with me to help me get in it. So then I got to pay them. Like, it's not, people just think, oh, I'm going to show up and it's going to be like a costume from Party City or something, No, it takes up my whole car.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, I think that a lot of people, and this is why whenever I help people with like marketing or whatever, and like my friend recently, I was helping him like stuff. I explained to them, like, you need to show the stuff that's boring to you, so that your clients can understand the amount of work that it takes to do what it is that you do. Because what you find boring, like for instance, if you were to just take your phone and put it down and then just time lapse you putting the whole robot into the car, and then go to the next spot and then time lapse you taking it out of the car, and then take the next spot of you putting yourself into it, all as a time lapse. Then you put the actual amount of time that it took on the ride. Like, it took 2 hours in total to have this happen, and I haven't even started the show yet.
Like, oh, people want to hire me for an hour, but it's not just an hour. It's all the prep. It's getting there. Then I got to drive back. Wherever I go to, I got to make that same drive going back.
Right.
So sometimes I'll get a call for like a gig 5 hours away and they want me for an hour, and I'm like, all right, it's going to be $2,000. And then that separates the people that are serious about booking you from the people who aren't serious about booking. You know what I mean?
Right, for sure, 100%, right there on the price quote. Whoa!
I don't have the mindset like I used to, where I say yes to everything now. It's like I can pick and choose what I want to do. Like, I don't want to do all the gigs.
Right. Well, and that's a beautiful place to be, right? Where you finally found your groove. You found a price range in which you can work a certain amount, and that you're gonna, especially during season, that during that part of the year you will make enough to say, I made this much money per year, and you don't have to work, i.e., every single weekend every Christmas, every party, every birthday, every little thing, hoping that next $250 will get you to the next thing. That's the worst way to work, you know. But a lot of people do it also. You know, a lot of people, they I don't think they ever transition. Is maybe what it is. You know? And so, yeah, I think that's probably the issue. I don't know what you did, but it got loud again.
And I can't really hear you, bro. I'm getting ready to pull up to the airport, though, homie.
Well, have an amazing flight, and I think we had an amazing conversation. It went everywhere, but it felt kind of streamlined. Ryan, thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. If you can click out, I'll end the show. It should do it that way. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I love you, Ryan. Oh, wait, before you go, any? Oh, well, we did it already. It's what was your
Entertainers?
Elevated Entertainers? Ryan Magnuson, amazing. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you later. Okay.
All right, buddy.
Yeah. Safe trip, bro.
Thanks.
Bye. Okay, wow, this is turning out to be like really good. Or at least I think so. Okay, what a great conversation. What a great way to like look at where he came from, what he started. So if to give you a bit, and I don't think he even mentioned it, Bill Weidrick has been like this cornerstone for so many entertainers within the Houston community. He has had a company for 15, 20 years called Best Entertainers. Oh, no, sorry. Whoops. Woohoo. Incredible Entertainment. What? I got confused with. I can't believe I forgot Bill's company. This is insane. Anyways, Bill's had this company for many, many, many years, and he had always hired kids to do Disney characters, or call them Disney characters. You can't say that because that's illegal. But he would do a lot of that. So all of us worked for him. I've done it. I used to do Prince, this Alibaba and the thingy and all of them, and so did Ryan. And Ryan always knew how to still walk, was a juggler. And so he was starting to get hired for little things. And over time, 6-7 year period, he went from being a guy who was making $80 an hour to what I think he just said a second ago, which is $2,000 for an hour. And so now, well, that's a big jump. But it's obviously he put in the work, and he worked for some of the good companies within the Houston area. And he's found a nice little niche. And that actually goes into the whole entire conversation of what I was trying to say today when I was starting this right before Ryan jumped in, which is so good because it's and I don't know who I was talking about with this yesterday or the day before, but it doesn't matter. The idea is that there's these placements that we can call where we think we should be and where we are. And finding a place of comfort, not necessarily saying I'm going to do this the rest of my life, but like in the sense of what Ryan did, in the sense of that growth. He kept doing the exact same work, if you will, entertaining work, found stilt walking to be the thing that worked, put money into it, found ways to make money doing that, now charges a certain amount of money because he put so much time and effort and whatever, and he's known for being a good character and doing so, right? And so there's not a level of comfort there, but there's a level of comfort there. And what do I mean by that? He may not be happy, quote unquote, on the inside for some weird reason, whatever that is, that he's not at this level of fame and fortune, right? This recognition for his art form. But at the same time, he's at a place, maybe it's somewhere in the middle, right? He's like, if not the best, one of the best right here in the middle. And that's not a bad place. That's not putting him down in some way, shape, or form. That's just saying that where he's at right now, because if you want to go back 6 years, you'd go, okay, he's way down here at the $75 level. If we're putting value of money in some way, shape, or form, which it's not, but that comes with the experience, that comes with the knowledge, that comes with the amount of work that you've done in the past, that you can say, look, I've done this already and I know what I'm doing. I don't need that company to start my own company and go out and get my own quotes, and instead of only getting paid $75, get paid $275. And oh wow, I just made this all myself, instead of having to have my own company, instead of having to have somebody who works for me and I have to pay them for picking up the phone and all the things that Bill has to do, or any other entertainment company has to do to have the doors open so that they can keep servicing their clients, right? Like anything else in this world. And so the idea here is that you find that you're here's the quote I'm trying to find. It's that I think the quote was, and this is kind of a little fuel off, but it's something to the effect of, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And that's the same on this level of this chart, right? If you're the best at what you're doing in your realm, whatever that be, whether it's corporate or in my city or for kids magic or university and cruise ships, I don't care, it doesn't really matter, whatever thing that you're doing, and that could be the same for a million properties, right? Woodworking or whatever. Once you've gotten to a place where you're at the best of your game, you best start going to seminars and meeting people who are making more money and connecting and making phone calls and asking questions of how they are at where they are. And if you don't want to go there for some reason, like, I don't want to do corporate work, or I don't want to do this, or I like the kind of thing that I have, well then great. Find the people who help you optimize that same ideology, so that instead of doing $2,000 shows, you're doing $20,000 shows with the exact same thing you were doing a second ago. Because if you were making $75 here and now you're making $2,000 here, what says you can't make $20,000 here? Who says no? No. You say no. The only person who stops the value of your thing being anything is you. You say what value you demand. Now, you may not get a lot of $20,000 shows, but you might get $20,000 shows a year, and then you're not working 100 shows a year at 2,000. Then you're only working 10 days a year, which add in this day, that day, blah, 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 30 days a year? Add in the advertising, the this, the that, the talking to people and emails, and 4 months a year? Add in the having to do the setup and the rehearsals and calling other people who need to be in the show, your lighting guy, the sound, the camera. 12 months a year you're working to do 10 shows. The point is, if you're an entrepreneur in some way, shape, or form, you never stop. There is no stopping. I just saw a great video on YouTube where this kid made $1 million selling ebooks using artificial intelligence to write the books for him. He could write an entire book in 3 hours that has 20,000 words to it.
All right, hey, I'm going to shop.
Yep, see you there in a bit. And so this amazing process of creating books. He created 40 books in less than a month and a half, and he leaves them on the internet by selling advertising on Pinterest, and that sells his books. And then when he finds a new subject, he goes out, writes another book with the AI, so on and so forth, right? Now, this kid was doing this in his first and second year of college, and the whole thing that was going through his mind, he said, was, every single day I'm in school. And this is, you gotta think, 19, 20, 21 years old, and I'm in, class 101 of mathematics, and I'm looking at myself going, XY to the Z3, or ding, 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 oh shit, I just made another $1,000 today. What should I be spending my time on? And so this kid had his own dilemma, and his own dilemma was, do I just drop school entirely and just run towards this thing that's making me, money per day? Or do I stick to my guns and finish this thing called school? And why am I going to school in the first place? Oh, I'm going to school to learn how to run a business. Oh, wait, I'm running a business already. And so there's this very heavy conversation that he was having with himself. From what I understand, I think he's still in school. I think he's going to try and graduate rapidly or whatever it is now that he has a business and he's doing whatever, and you can test out of certain things, yada, yada. But nonetheless, I think what I'm trying to pull all the things together is that the dilemma that we have is never really that real, right? The Stoics in the past would say the most amount of pain that you feel is the most the stuff that you create, right? The stuff that you are perpetuating within your own mind. That's where the junk is at. It's not from outside. It's not somebody who's like, you're a piece of poop and put you poo-poo, and you're like, yeah, you're right, I am. We allowed it to get in. Or even deeper, we put ourselves there unconsciously so that we could beat ourselves up to get somewhere, which is the worst way to do things, by the way. And there's this other really beautiful thought process that a friend of mine, Chris Bolger, grand hypnotist, amazing guy, self-help coach, hopefully we'll do a show here one day. And his whole thing is like, stop worrying about clearing up your trauma from the past. Like, whatever, bro. Like, that's your trauma from the past. It's not here now. And any amount of energy and time that you're looking back and going, oh, poor Paulie, or whatever, you're not taking the energy, you're not taking the time, you're not taking the to create, to be, to do. Instead, you're still standing witness to the pain of somebody else that was transgressed into your own life. And granted, yes, there's a place of saying, well, I don't want to have this on me anymore, and I need to deal with it. You kind of don't. Like, if you can be a true forgiver, right? You'll forgive even if the person is going to do it again. That is like 110 level, maybe 120 something, maybe even, I don't know. It's unbelievable to me that you're saying that, Paul. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean I forgive the guy who just stabbed me and then I give him a hug and he stabs me again? That's stupid. And yes, it is. But there's also something very beautiful in knowing that you're not getting cut. And that's hardcore. Right? That's like, what? What? Right, because it's... Now, granted, I went really far when I said cut with it, and there's supposed to be an analogy, so I don't want you to take the stabbing as a real stabbing. We're talking about like an emotional stabbing, intellectual stabbing, whatever kind of stabbing is what I'm trying to get at in that sense. So don't go there as a, like, hey, I'm just going to walk into somebody with a knife over. It's just not that smart. That's not what I'm saying. But that martyrdom can mean something, right? That allowing of someone else to harm you standing in front of a tank in Tiananmen Square, putting gasoline on yourself, Buddhist monk, light yourself on fire, don't eat, Gandhi sitting with a bunch of people saying, we're not going to do nothing, feed us. Like, they're all forms of punishment upon yourself to make a point, or somebody else's punishment upon you, right? So there is that there. And so in the same way that we're not, that punishment might be there, we find a way to manipulate the punishment so that it is not ours. Like, I am not being punished. I'm being given a chance to change the world in India. Whoa. That's much more powerful in thinking. And guess what? I'm not thinking about my past, kids. I'm not allowing my 6-year-old or my 8-year-old or my 15-year-old or my 20-something-year-old or my 30-year-old or any of the olds to direct. The person who directs is the person who is at the helm, the one who is steering the boat, right? Right? But I do need my 4-year-old and my 6-year-old and my 8-year-old and my I need them all. I need them all. Not because I'm holding on to them and saying, hey, you're here to hold me back because of the pain. No, it's there to be like a place marker of my life to say, whoa, hey man, I'm coming into some storms right now that I know these storms. I know these waters. And I know how to effectively manage these waters in such a better way than ever before. And so I need that past, that, call it trauma. It's not trauma to me, ladies and gentlemen. It's full-on lessons when you look at it the right way. It's full-on forgiveness when you look at it the right way. It's full-on connection to your source, call that whatever you want it to be, in the rightest of ways. It's pure. And there's nothing that can be adulterated there or changed or moved or nothing. Like, how could you? Why would you? And I want everyone to understand that, because that is the key picture here. That is what we're trying to hold on to, what we're trying to create, with what I'm trying to do here today in my life. That's my directive, is to give directive, because I have directive. I've always had directive. Sure, I've had years of insanity. Sure, I've had pain. But baby girl and baby boy, you promise this kid, there ain't nothing this one doesn't do. This one goes wherever it wants. This one lives however it chooses on some weird level. And where does that come from? It comes from, I think, two things. Having full faith, a faith-based life. I fully have faith in this thing called the universe, this thing called creator. I don't know what it is. I've never understood it, but I fully connect to it on a daily basis, like power, hungry, angry, love it. And I want to kiss it. You know what I mean? Like, I fully engulfed in it. And then weirdly, because of that, the second thing that I have is like this want to give everything, even if I have absolutely nothing. I just want to, whatever this thing is that I feel, call it whatever you want. I want you to feel it as well. I want you to be like, oh my, this is so good, dude. This is so good. 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 This is, you know, like in the movie where he plays God. It's good. It's good. Because it really is good. And I've said this a lot lately, and I hope that now it kind of makes a little more sense. If you allow strife, pain, drama, any of the negativity in your life, then you're not connecting to this thing of beauty. And it's not saying that this beautiful energy is going to somehow or another protect you, but on some level, it's going to protect you. I don't know how else to say it, other than I've proved it for 20 some odd plus years traveling around the world, being the person that I'm being. I haven't tried to be anything else except this really interested 8-year-old, if you will, kid who is just fascinated by everyone else. I'm fascinated by the people I've met in my life. I'm so amazed by any of the people that I hope that you guys get to see. Jeffrey just came in, Jeffrey Bannock. Oh my God, fascinated by his life. Anybody who has one of those little thingies where they stand and it has a little, it looks, and they've made, it says, I've sold 1 million or one, whatever, .com award. Bro, to me, that's like, whoa. And why? Because I've spent years trying to do some kind of funnel or some kind of book or some kind of class. And to see somebody else do it, and then not just do it well, but then teach other people how to do it. And then to find out in the end that it was never really the .com award, and it was never really the this thing or building it was the sharing of the knowledge that really, from what I know about Jeffrey, that really gets him going. And hopefully one day he'll do an episode and we can talk deeply about his whole thing and who he is. But and that goes for anybody who watches, literally anybody who watches this. If you want to be on a daily pod with Paul, then please, DM and do all that stuff. But that's what I want this to be about, right? The excitement that I get from this one quote, and I believe this is Carnegie, and it says, don't be interesting, be interested. Like, be interested in their story, but more so than just like, oh, I want to know like the inner workings. I want to suckle at your flower. Like, does that make sense? Like, I want to smell your perfume. I want to know your like inner beauty. And then I want you to share the out of it. Like you, Thomas, who just came in, share your photography, my friend. I love your photography. It's absolutely amazing. It always has been. And I know you share it. I know you go to little things, and I know you give it to people, and I know you have done stuff with NASA and with the fire department and Friendswood because you're a badass. And that's just those kind of things. Like, that's my heart song. It's like so many of us live life in this confusion. At least I feel that that's how people live life. And I don't mean to be disrespectful. I just see an overwhelming experience upon your existence that has nothing to do with your existence. And so instead, we work these jobs and have these homes. And I'm not saying don't have a home. I'm not saying don't work a job. I'm not saying don't do those things. What I'm saying is that if you were to take away everything that you believe you are, like if I were to take away me being a magician or a hypnotist or a singer or an artist or a this or a that or a bliggity blah, what is my ultimate core real want? That's what I've always wanted to know. And it took a long time and a really trippy weekend to come to an absolute defined knowledge of who I am, right? At least for right now, right? And that is that at the core of me, all I have ever wanted is to make it a bit easier for me and for anyone else involved. And that's whether I make a fart joke or I bring up some kind of intellectual property of math. Either way, I want it to be a way of saying, be who you want to be, say what you want to say, try not to hurt anyone, but guess what? You're going to hurt some people no matter what you do. And may your intention come from a place of not, I don't want to love and peace, a place of blossoming, a place of I keep going back to these nature concepts in my head, but I see like a bee grabbing pollen, and I see a hummingbird, and I see like all these beautiful things happening. And I want you to be one of those beautiful things happening, instead of something happening to you and then you responding to that happening. And that could be whatever you want it to be in your life. Society or children. Take a breath. Let's all take a breath. Let's all chill out for a second. Because fuck, it's stressful when you do that. It's stressful when you put a million things on your shoulders. And what are you here to do, really? In my opinion, it's to experience the experience at whatever level you're at and wherever you are, that spot right in the middle. Wherever you are, you find a place of content, of gratitude, of saying, wow, I can't believe I'm even here. I can't believe I'm even right here. Like, even in this crap, this is, oh my God, this is even, whoa. You see what I'm saying? Because the truth is, at the end of the game, your happiness comes from you. Period. It doesn't come from an outside source. It doesn't come from some drugs. It doesn't come from working out. It doesn't come from eating well. It's a combination of many things, but it's not, it's your ultimate choice. That's it. Your ultimate choice to eat well. Your ultimate choice to go out and kick a ball around for 10 minutes and not breathe. It's your choice to go do those things. And if you don't, then there's no one to complain to. Not God, not the guy down the street who sold you the drugs, not the person who didn't inspire you enough. Fuck you, bro. Inspire yourself. Inspire yourself. And if you can't be inspired through your own self, then go find someone to inspire you. Go find it. Go find the thing that you like and say, hi, person that does this thing that I like. I don't know how to do it, but I want to do it. Do the Prince. Prince spent, I don't know how many years, 4 or 5 years sweeping the floor, picking up coffee. I tell the story all the time. Just so he could, at night, record songs by himself because he knew all the instruments. Guy was a sick genius. But that's not the point. He was willing to work and do other people's wipey of their butts, if you will, so that he could have the time to prove who he was. Without having to make phone calls and tell people, without having to do this and that. No, he just got up and did. And just, hey, I'm going to do this because I choose to. No other reason. And that's why people are like, how did you get signed to a label, Paul? I don't know. I just went out and did it. Well, how did you go on TV, Paul? I don't know. I just went out and auditioned. How did you do this? I just do it. I don't think about it. But the difference on many times is that I don't have responsibilities. I choose choose not to have the same responsibilities because my responsibilities are different. For me, my perceptual value of life. And that's no to yours. Your perceptual value is just as important as mine. It is absolutely as important. And because if you were like me, then we'd have a bunch of Pauls all over the place and nothing would be getting done. We wouldn't have engineers, we wouldn't have architects, we wouldn't have surgeons and dentists and we'd have a bunch of people running around being art thingies, whatever that means. And I don't know what that, I'm not trying to define myself because I don't want to. I've never wanted to define myself. I've always wanted to be an artist of life. And that's even a definition in and of itself, right? So I want to be my own thing. I've always wanted to be my own thing. And I am. I am my own thing. I am my own precious little beautiful gem. And wherever I go, with just being that thing and sharing the small amounts of things that I've learned along the way and being interested enough to want to learn more, always reading, always watching documentaries, always more, right? Because I want to share it. I want to hear something, I want to get affected by it, and then I want to go, because that's all we're doing here anyways. There's no original thoughts here. So if you think you're original, poopity spoops. Sorry, somebody already did it. Now, are you going to make an amalgamation of it? Great. So you're an artist. Whee! Big deal. Your flower is not all yellow. It has one red stripe. Wow. Right? And you can't be big-headed about your flower because it's not your flower. It's nature's flower. We are nature's flowers. Where did we come from, folks? We come from the mycelium. We come from the mushrooms. We fuse into a bio machine in some way, shape, or form through this thing that happened. We become sentient. Then we're monkeys for thousands of years, and then we create these things called computers. And then we start to create computers that kind of look like our brain, kind of work like our brain, and then we're getting weirded out when those things go, hey, I think I'm thinking. Do you not see the beauty of the never-ending spiral of beauty that we're involved in? Some massive, amazing, creational source created this thing that somehow or another thinks for itself, unlike almost anything else, right? And then we go out and say, hey, we're made in the image of them. And then we go out and start making things that are starting to very much look very similar and think very similarly and look very and walk very similarly to us, and then we start going, oh, this is weird. And yet we don't even see the beauty of this beautiful spiral that's happening right in front of us, that's right in this earth, that if you put your fingers into it, you smell it, and the light source it's so sick. Like, it's absolutely like, it really is. And forgive me, my friends, for the person who somewhere along the way got lost in the last 7 some odd years. Forgive me for not being this guy always. Because by all means, I owe it to not only myself, but to all of my ancestry that allow me to hold the torch of their awesomeness. It's like, that's my responsibility. If I never have children, if I never become some grand poobastic BS character, my holding of the torch is to hopefully, even if, because I don't, like in my analogy, if I destroy the torch by not having children, that the sparks of my torch create freaking like massive wildfires upon everything that is, in the sense that it just makes so much sense to everybody else once they even catch one breadcrumb of the entirety of this thing that was Paul. Because then that is where, like, I'm like, winning! Because it was never about the money. It was never about the fame. It was never about the art in and of itself. It was about trying to, like, take this thing that I can't get it out. I can't get it out. Like, somehow, in some way, it comes out, right? And that's the same as like freaking Stevie Ray Vaughan or Picasso, or it doesn't matter. It's even you. You have that thing. We all have that thing. Each one of us individually, absolutely different from the other. And the way that you paint is going to be different than someone else. And the way that you sing is going to be different than someone else. And draw and fart and think and build. It's going to be different in some way, shape, or form. Maybe because you have less experience. Maybe because this. Maybe because of that. It doesn't matter. But whatever it is that you create will be your version of that thing. And there will be someone along the way who goes, oh yeah, this is the best version of this thing I've ever seen in my life. And you go, really? And they go, yeah, it's like super crazy cool. And you're like, you don't think it's childlike? No, it's, I just blew up my brain. And it's only because you were being you, like the realest of the realest of the realest of the realest you, that happens. And I see it daily. Oh, do I see it daily? And it's not because I'm doing magic tricks and making people oh, no. That's not it. It's this right here. That's what it is. And it's not crazy. It's not bipolar. It's connection. It's source, folks. Like real source, my source. And my source is this place of wonderment. My source is a place of awesomeness. My source is a place of beauty. My source is a place of acceptance of everything as it's happening right now and in the future. Because guess what? There's a lot of it that I can't control. All I can do is close my eyes and open my eyes. And then I can put myself in situations. Hopefully, in the better situations than the crappy situations. But who knows? And who knows what's better and crappy? Isn't that kind of perceptual? Hey, Paul, you're living in Indonesia on a thingy in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of hippies. That might be crappy to somebody, but to me, that might be like freaking, I found Shangri-La. See what I'm saying? So don't get upset about what is or what should be or what. What's your thing? Where's your family? Is your family poopy to you? Go find another family. Guess what? They're out there. There's billions of us out there. There's like your town with like whatever amount of people there. There's like billions of people everywhere. Everywhere. And there's a lot of them on the internet. Oh my God, get out of here. It's scary. And you can find the people that you resonate with. But be careful to not resonate so completely that all you do is stay within a chamber of and you don't peek your head out every once in a while to see what's going on. Because who wants to be that guy either? right? Who wants to just be the follower? Ugh, nobody likes that. What is that? Right? We want to be our own individuals. Yet at the same time, we want to be willing to accept criticism. We also want to be able to accept team members. We also, no man is an island, right? All these things, it's not like it's the thing called life is not easy, is what I'm trying to get at. It's not. There's no way to put it any other way. It's not easy. But you can make it easier by taking off the weight, by being you, and by being you freely. And by accepting, and by also saying, I forgive completely. And by doing that, you will, in turn, change the world. I can't explain it any other way. You will, in turn, save someone's life. You will, in turn, inspire someone to be different. You will, in turn, do the thing that you are here to do. That's it. That's what you're here to do. You're here to be the oil that's hot enough that pops the popcorn. Or maybe you're here to be the popcorn that pops. One way or another, you got to do something. Sorry. And one way or another, you will do something. You will either pop or you will either get hot and melt things. I don't know. That's my analogy for that one. One or the other. Or you could be the flame. Or you could be the pan. So now we're 4 things. I'll break it down for you, folks. You could be the thing that puts everything together, the pan. You could be the thing that heats it up, that really gets everybody going, right? You could be the thing that coalesces things, the thing that rubs everyone the right way. You could be the thing that inspires others. Hell, you could even be the thing that someone snacks upon. Mentally. Don't eat people, that's weird. You know what I mean? So, wow, what a ride. I think this is a good one. My friends, I'm going to end it on that note. I hope that you walk away from this and you're like, whoa, holy poopity scoops. There's been this thing in my pocket that I need to pull out and start giving away a lot of. And if you're already doing that in some way, shape, or form, do more of it, you know? Like, do as much of that stuff as you can, the stuff that really makes you happy, the stuff that really gets you going. And don't worry about how am I going to make the money or how am I going to do that. Bro, I promise you, on some weird, stupid level, it will come. When you go to the church and you start giving this thing, and then that next church hears about it, then the next church, like, there's a story. This is really cool. It was in Florida. There was a guy, and he was making challah, which is bread that people do on Shabbat for Jewish families. And this guy was making, at the beginning, in his own house, 80 challahs a week, which is a lot of work, okay? And then he was able to then start making 300 because he was able to connect, like, houses. Hey, you're going to do this many, you do this many, you have a bigger kitchen, you do more. And they were able to build it. And this was only for people who didn't have money. These were for, like, totally broke, homeless Jewish families, whatever. And so he meets a guy who owns his own restaurant kitchen that's not open. And it's there only for his wife. And he's a multi-billionaire, this guy. And the guy is, you know, obviously paid for whatever he needs to pay for, and for his wife can go to this restaurant, literally a restaurant, and she can just cook whatever she wants and do whatever she wants. And then, of course, he's going to make money by making it an events venue thing. But he needed someone to run it, and he heard about this kid, and he's like, oh, you can have my kitchen. And he's like, what do you mean I can have your kitchen? He's like, yeah, my wife's only here like 3 months out of the year. It's yours. And so now all of a sudden this guy who was making these things, who was doing this effort for his community, and I'm not saying that God was involved. No, it's very simple. If you want to take away the whole thing like that, It's very simple. There was a man in the community who was doing something nice for the community. Other people saw it. One guy, just by chance, heard about it, said, hey, and I have this thing, and you're doing this thing for the community that I'm involved in, so hey, guess what? Here you go. That's what happened. Now, is there some beautiful story that you can tie emotionally that makes you feel something beautiful about religion in that respect, or having community in that respect? Then 1,000 bajillion percent go run with that story. But what you're really seeing there is somebody who dedicated their time and energy to help other people, and then before you know it, other people came around and were like, "Oh my God, you're so good. I gotta find a way to help you because you're doing something nice." That's all that's happening. That's all that's happening. Like, I see it in my thing when I do something, and then best example, this last weekend, there was a party that I created. I did magic, I did hypnosis, but the whole time I was cleaning. And I would go around and grab a trash can and start cleaning. I mean, me as a person who likes to do events and likes to do things like that, that's like rule number one. Don't let the fucking venue get trashy while more and more people show up. Because what happens is people get drunk, they're talking, they have a conversation, they go outside, they forget, and then the drink just stays there. They don't come back to pick it up. And you as the host organizer should either A, have somebody who's running around cleaning up, or B, you should be the host organizer grabbing a piece of trash and just saying, hey man, here, just throw it in here, and then everybody else just join suit because you're the host organizer. So we went to the beach right afterwards, and as the host organizer of the event, I clean everything. I show up to the beach late, but I show up with 2 igloo chests and alcohol and sodas and go back up to get more water and come back down. And by the time I got back down, 4 other kids had grabbed the table and cooking and started making tacos, like on the beach, like straight up in the middle of the beach. It was great. Obviously in this great spot that we were in, closed encountered 280 some odd acres thing, secret spot, but it was cool. And then all of a sudden, all these musicians started coming to the beach, and they started bringing drums and playing music. And this lasted now for the next 6-7 hours of everybody else joining in on this one simple little story of, hey, I just want to do some magic and show you guys some magic and some hypnosis, and I hope you like my thing. And here's a potluck of food that we just collected from everybody else around the camp because they're leaving. It wasn't food. But nonetheless, we all enjoyed and we all shared with each other. And it was that I'm trying to express, that when you start to do it and you keep continually doing it in front of other people, they just click. And they go, oh shit, people are going to get hungry. We should probably go get food. And then they go get our table, and then they go get their cooking supply stuff. And then the other guy grabs the food from the thing, and the other guy grabs the tortillas. And then before you know it, they're all back at the beach, and they're all building a table with the tablecloth and lighting setups. And you know what I mean? And it was no one said, hey, who's the food guy? Not one person. They just took it upon themselves. So I'm asking you to take it upon yourself. That's what I had to do it. The video with me with the swastika and the white face and walking into women's bathrooms and standing behind an American flag. That's what it's all about. The I had to do it thing was I'm asking you to do it too. I'm asking you to go out there and do it. Even if it's mistaking. Even if it's putting a swastika on your head and white face and the thing and the whole, it's too much. I get it. I'm not asking you to go crazy like me. I'm doing crazy on purpose to prove a point. Like, especially when I did it 7-8 years ago, 9 years ago now when I made that video, I was super trying to prove a point about the stupidity of what we're living in. I'm this, I'm that, you're who, ha 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 ha, blah 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 blah. Well, I'm American, I'm a Republican, I'm a blah 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 blah. What stupid shit is this? Stupid shit? What is this stupid shit? Because it's stupid, folks. That's stupid. That's stupid. That's not life. That's not community. That's not living. That's not making art. That's not growing. That's not new scientific purposes. That's not new literature. That's not new intellectual thought. That's poop. It's straight
Poop. The Kardashians. Who did they marry this week? Who did their life get ruined by? Why are people so mean to the billionaires? Look, I love you and I love the billionaires too. I'm not angry at the billionaires. I've said this many times in my life, and I'll say it again. I'm not angry at a blacksmith's son for being a blacksmith. I'm not angry at your lot in life. I'm not. I'm angry at the choices you continue to keep pushing forward, possibly. And then again, I don't know why you do what you do, because I'm not you. I'm me, trying to share happiness, trying to love, trying to give, trying to grow in a community of people who feel the same way, who want to share the foods that they make, the art that they make, the things that they're doing that is out there to inspire other people to try and be the thing that they're trying to be, which is the best I can be right now. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. Experiencing the experience. That's it. So with that, my friends, please, I beg of you, go out into the world and do something nice for somebody else. And if you can't do something nice for yourself, it does start with you. Number 2, don't get caught up in all the crazy stuff in this world, because if you do, oh my God, my friend, you'll end up thinking about all the crazy stuff in this world. And number 3, I beg of you, please like, share, subscribe, send this out to somebody who would like to see it. If you did catch it or you don't know where to find it, you can always find it on my YouTube. It's Paul David Carpenter / and this will be episode 3 of On the Other Side. So thank you very much, my friends, and I will see you all on the other side.